What is up, creatives? I'm Jahrell, your music technologist, here to help you master the tech you need to make music freely. I go live weekly talking about tip and tutorial videos, gear reviews, and things like that, all in the realm of music production. If you enjoy that kind of content, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you're notified the next time I drop a video. So, today, we are diving right into arranging your beats in BeatMaker 3. What I'm gonna do is go over an example of a beat that I did. And some of you guys might have heard my song Stars. If you haven't, hit up your streaming service of choice. Or if you're really a fan, go ahead and cop that on iTunes or something. But I released a song called Stars in 2020, and I feel pretty good about the way it turned out. And I think a lot of it, as I was listening to it and seeing what made this a good song, I feel like it had a lot to do with the arrangement. And so I thought I'd share some gems tonight based on that. All right, so I'll play you the song, and then we'll go back and look at the arrangement. So here you go.
Wanna try on Richmond, I've been on board. Handle that business, but my pants can't fit cause I skip fitness. I drown in my busyness to get the bag. I ain't seen a check and missed my chance to sit with the one who could fix my biggest bad thing that I'm missing out. Can't really see the vision. Clouds block light from the distance. Twinkle, twinkle, what is that? Seeing stars, but it ain't legitness. So I look in the good book. Wait, got a tweet, take a peek, a good look. Looks like I missed it. Oh well, make a video. Focus is really low. Could've met with God, but it really ain't no biggie though. Look at the stars drop. We want it all, huh? God stuff. But that don't pause, bro. It's like the mantra. One set of hands holding the planets, they don't fall. And we think we handling it all. But he made the stars. In orbit, constantly spinning, can't keep them in focus. Reaching for everything, green can't ignore it. Skipping my God and them things is important. I'm up all day, but my soul is still snoring. I gotta wake them up. Get my Bible in my coffee cup. Maybe I'll just hit my girly up. No one not out of focus, but I'm squirrely, huh? Distractions. I see the light beam through the sky. Gotta get higher, high, so I can see it with my eyes, yeah. Hold it with my own two hands. Show the world I'm the man, yeah. Distracted by things, rain, sky calling. I don't wanna pick it up, man. Look at the stars drop. We want it all, huh? God stuff. But that don't pause, bro. It's like the mantra. One set of hands holding the planets, they don't fall. And we think we handling it all. But he made the stars.
That's the full jam. That's it right there. So that was Stars. Hopefully you guys dug that. But the whole point of listening through that is we're going to take a look at how arrangement in my beat making process made a full song possible. So I actually took some notes on some things you guys should consider when formatting your song. So this is kind of going to be focused on like modern music. So, maybe a little bit in the pop genre, pop, hip hop, rap, trap, electronic music and stuff like that, songs are getting shorter in length. So think about your song length as you're making it. Generally between 2.5 to 3 minutes is what you want to aim for. All of the like more modern genres, generally shorter songs are what's happening right now. So a lot of times you'll go straight into a verse, or you'll start with an intro. This intro and outro that are blue, that just means that that's optional. You don't have to have an intro and an outro. The intro, you generally want to make it pretty short and then get right into a verse. For Stars, I feel like I probably made my intro a little too long. If I had to do it again, I'd probably cut my intro in half. 1 to 4 bars for your intro, which is optional, or you can go straight into a verse. Verses are generally shorter nowadays. Generally want to be about 8 bars. Verses used to be about 16 bars, and you'd have at least 3 in a song, sometimes even 4. But now you almost never hear more than 2 verses in a song. So an 8-bar verse, and this is something I want to highlight when it comes to making music, modern music, is the chorus is king. You want to kind of build your song around the chorus. Now, that doesn't mean your chorus in your song needs to be the most hype as far as the instrumental goes. You can decide, do I want a more stripped down chorus, or do I want something that's just full and expansive for the chorus? And that's going to affect how whoever your artist is, how they sing or rap over that section. But the chorus is your highlight. And you want to make a pre-chorus that builds really well into your chorus. So if you remember in Stars, I actually intentionally did some things to build into my chorus. At the end of the verse, everything drops out and it makes kind of a sweeping build up into the chorus. So still in the verse here. And pre-chorus. And chorus. So, do you need to do something like that every time? No, your pre-chorus doesn't have to be like mine, but just be intentional about having one. And about knowing what you want to do in that pre-chorus. So 1 to 4 bars for your intro, 8 bars for your verse. Pre-chorus is generally going to be shorter. So notice my pre-chorus was 4 bars. You don't need it to be super long. And then into your chorus, 8-bar chorus. So your chorus in most songs is going to be as long as your verse a lot of times. Everything is kind of led to the chorus, and after that, you're going to chop right into a verse, usually. So sometimes the second verse is shorter. That's really common in pop music. The second verse will be shorter. Generally, it'll be 8 bars again, or it'll be 4 bars, like a half verse, and then it'll go straight into the pre-chorus. Generally, the pre-chorus is the same length. I wouldn't shorten your pre-chorus. It's a really nice build-up into your chorus. By the time you've gotten to this point, your audience wants to hear the chorus again, because that was probably their favorite part of the song. So double it up. Generally, I wouldn't just do the same chorus patterns, literally copied and pasted. A lot of times what people do is they'll do their first chorus more hype or different from the original chorus back here. And then the second time the chorus comes in, it'll be the same as the original chorus. That's a pretty good technique. And then you can have an outro. Outros, you don't have to be too picky. Unless you're really trying to shorten it and you're crunched for time, you don't want to make the song too long, you can cut your outro short. The purpose of making your intro shorter is to get people into the song, into the heat of the action quicker. So this is your first option. This is a way of formatting a song. Screenshot this and use this the next time that you make a song. Feel free. So this is the second option. It's pretty similar to the first option, but in this case, we're going to use a post-chorus instead of a pre-chorus. And this is also very common. You'll start the song with the same pattern as your post-chorus. You have to think of, your singer that's singing or rapper. Possibly they could start the song with the same thing they sing after the chorus. And that's a pretty good effect if you do your patterns right. And we'll kind of talk about some techniques about how to make a good sounding post-chorus. But start with a post-chorus, 2 to 4 bars going into a verse, 8 bars. 8-bar verse into an 8-bar chorus. So notice we're going straight from verse to chorus. This is going to affect how your artist performs on the song. And this can be super dope, especially for a more upbeat song, going straight from the verse into the chorus, not worrying about a build-up. I think of kind of like a feel-good song. I would want to go straight from the verse into the chorus sometimes. After the chorus, you got a post-chorus. So the same thing you started with, you've got again. And that's going to be kind of a smooth transition into your second verse. And just like I said before, sometimes you might want to make your second verse a bit shorter. So 8 bars or 4 bars for your verse, go into another chorus. And this is something that happens in a lot of music. And you got to be careful when you're adding things like bridges or build-ups, because it can affect your length. Bridge and build-up can be 8 bars. Generally, I wouldn't make it shorter than that. If it's a bridge, you know, it needs to have some bit of length to it. If it's too short, people can be like, whoa, what was that? And then it's gone. And they never hear it again, because the bridge generally isn't something that's repeated again in the song later. So bridge and build up, 2 choruses. At this point, people are hyped to hear the chorus again. 2 choruses, and then you can use your post-chorus again as your outro. So this song might be a little bit longer than this song, but these are 2 very popular formats. Hopefully I wasn't too wordy with that, but let's go ahead and pull up BeatMaker 3 again and look at some ways to make this happen, or at least look at how I made it happen. So in my intro, I wanted a simple instrumental with, let's do this. I did it with strings. So I played in some live strings, and I have this string swell right here that leads straight into the verse. So we've got intro into the verse. With the verse, you'll notice I start with more of a stripped down verse here. There's not a lot happening, and things build incrementally as the verse progresses. So let's listen to that real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Some sparse percussion and a kick. Okay, here's the first verse pattern. Now here's the second. Okay, we got a little bit more movement. Okay, and then we're getting into the pre-chorus. So notice there's some direction happening with the patterns. I'm actually adding in things as we go. And here's a pro tip. You're going to notice this a lot, especially in this song, but something I'm trying to do a lot more. When you're bringing in a new element, each new instrument should get its moment. If it's something the listener's never heard before, give it a moment. Sometimes that means dropping out other things to make room for the new sound that's coming in. And you'll notice I did that right here. Yeah, so everything kind of stops right here. And then we have a snare that's never been heard before, and it kind of fills that space. And then we go into a little bit more hype of a pattern, and with a new instrument being introduced right on the bar. And then we go into the pre-chorus right here. So generally when you're making a pre-chorus, you want it to build a little bit. What I did was I stripped everything out and let it build up and swell up into a silent drop and then the chorus. So what I did was I put a filter on this, and that's a very common effect, to have like a low pass filter, and it kind of goes higher and higher until you get to a cut. And then I made like a riser. Risers are super helpful for creating motion. So you want some motion happening in your pre-chorus, and that will set people up for your chorus. And notice when the chorus comes in, it's actually kind of stripped down. I didn't put every single instrument that was in the verse in here. I actually left out like this main chordal instrument right here. That's like one of my favorite instruments, but I cut it out of the chorus to create some difference here. I feel like that made room for the singing of the chorus. So here's the build up, and then I'll show you what I did for the chorus. Cool. So then we go into this main melody, which I played on my viola. It's exactly the same as the one from the intro. In fact, it's literally the same audio file. But what I did is I put the same instrument, again, up the octave with some effects on it to kind of fill in that space make it more eventful. And the percussion really just hits here. Like, I'm not trying to be subtle like I was in the verse. Here's that. Okay, so notice at the end of my at the end of my chorus, I'm setting up a transition into the verse. Okay, so I thought about, how do I want this to move into the verse? Sometimes you can just have a straight cut into something that's different, but I put a filter on the percussion on the way out, and I cut off some of the, bass and harmony that would have played over here, and I made a little room. Make room for what's going to happen. That's kind of a common theme for this live stream, but check what I did right here. And another thing that I would think about when you're thinking about your second verse, make your second verse different. A lot of times people don't want to hear the same thing twice, unless it was really that good the first time. But this gives your artist some creative freedom, especially if it's just one artist and they're going to be doing both verses. This gives them the opportunity to switch it up. Now, in this case, I had my little brother Noble on this track, and I feel like he killed his verse. It was dope. But I made his verse a little bit different than mine. And here's what I did. So I brought in an instrument that hasn't been heard this entire song yet until this verse. And this idea has taken a lot of time for me to grasp, the idea of not giving everything in the chorus. Sometimes you give yourself some creative freedom to make some dope things after your first chorus if you'll just hold on. Don't give everything away. Save some things so people still have some room to be intrigued by what you're doing. So I added in this percussion sound. It kind of sounds weird, but I used a lot of effects to make it happen. So here's what this sounds like. Brought back that pad that was in the first verse. Okay, here's a cut here. Bring the bass. Okay, so that's what I was mentioning before. Give every new instrument its chance to come in. So this bass is coming in before the one of the next bar, and I cut everything out to make room for it to come in. So this cymbal sound right here, which sounds like this, that cymbal as well as the bass came in at the same time, and I made room for it by cutting out everything else right there. All right, so the verse gets hype here. Okay, now I actually use the exact same pre-chorus here. You can do that. A lot of times the build-up, people don't care if it's the same, but they want that build-up into the chorus. Like, if you just give them the chorus, it's kind of anticlimactic. If you build up into it, people are gonna be way more hyped to hear it the second time. So we got the second pre-chorus, and then we're going into the second chorus. Now, if you remember on my notes that I shared here, for your second chorus, you're gonna wanna switch it up a little bit. Make it a little more hype or a little different at least. And then when it repeats, you can kind of go back to the way it was. That's exactly what I did in Stars. So it's only a slight change. You're expecting the beat to drop right on the beginning of the chorus, but I give it a bar of kind of like continued build up, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So we're building and building. Okay, you're expecting the drums. No drums. And then bring the drums in. Okay, so that was slight. It was slight, but it was different. It's enough of a difference to have some movement in the song. You'll notice when I repeat the chorus here, it's just back to the normal. There it is. That's exactly the same patterns as the original first chorus. All right, in this case, I went straight into an outro. It's the same as the intro, but what I did was I didn't let it run the whole outro. I faded it out because at that point, people had heard that pattern a lot and I didn't want them to get bored with it. So I faded it out. So that is what I did for stars. Hopefully that was helpful. Question of the day. What percentage of the music that you make do you actually put out, that you actually finish and release? I'll go first. About 1% of my music is released, and that's too bad. My plan is to get way more music out. So I want to push you guys, creatives, to put out your music. We will level up continuously if we'll continue to release what we do. So thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, creatives, go make something dope, and I'll see you in the next video.